David, you first traveled behind the Iron Curtain in the Soviet Union countries in 1961. Could you tell us what you actually discovered about conditions in Soviet Union countries at that time? What was your experience and impressions?
Well, let me explain that the reason I travelled behind the Iron Curtain was because, having no money to fly, I needed to be in Israel for a conference, and stupidly decided the only way to get there was to go by car. Well, it was a small microbus. There were 9 of us. I organised, I did everything. They only just, they helped me with the cost. But it was extremely difficult because of 2 things. One, nobody had ever done that before. That's the first time. And so I broke records. I was the first person to do it. But the other thing was, amongst the problems, it took me 2 years to organize. Because firstly, everybody said it was impossible. Then they said, how can you travel behind the Iron Curtain? But I prayed about it, and we did get visas to travel. But in those days, we traveled through what was Yugoslavia, and that's all divided up now. It's Croatia and so on. But it was the first communist country. Then from there, we had to go into Bulgaria and come out at the far side of Bulgaria into Turkey. So we were going right across. It's the reason I'm here today was because it did open my eyes to actually see that despite all the propaganda that communism was a wonderful free society, I very soon found it wasn't. For example, in Bulgaria, we weren't allowed to stay in hotels. We were put in a prison camp overnight. And so we did begin, and of course, as you know, because of the publicity, everybody wanted to go. And so I was taking people, eventually got about 8 or 9 times a year. And so what I was seeing was what real conditions were like in the Soviet Union. And it was the reality of seeing it. And even the idea of smuggling Bibles didn't start with me. It came because people were asking for Bibles. And so it opened my eyes. And because of the frequency I was doing it, it led to the Bible smuggling and so on, and my imprisonment. So, yes, I learned the truth. I think that's really what I have to say. I understood the suffering. Well, to even add to it, I had met some of the pastors in England who had been in prison in the Soviet Union.